Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today the weather finally got a little bit warmer, so we're excited to go to the park with our little idle villager. But before we play outdoors, we are going to play indoors as we sit down to watch Mr. Yo playing as the Malians in red get ready to take on ACCM playing as the Sicilians in blue. Now all the players heard their herdables explore their immediate surroundings and try to go up to feudal as soon as possible. Let's take a look at the civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now, the Malians are a civ classified as infantry, but man, oh man, are they so much more. To start with, sure, yeah, of course, units produced in barracks do get extra pierce armor, progressive pierce armor for free, starting in Feudal Age, all the way up to +3 in Imperial. And the Malian unique unit is the Gebetto. This is a quick infantry unit with a strong ranged melee attack. Think Frankish throwing axeman, but terrible HP and 0 base armor of any kind. But beyond their infantry, man oh man, the Malian cavalry can actually be upgraded to get a massive +5 attack boost, which is amazing because even though the Malians don't get hussars or paladins, with this upgrade for Rimba, Malian cavaliers actually have a higher attack than paladins, and their light cav and heavy camel riders are some of the strongest in the game. Now, if instead you choose to go the archer route, know you'll have plenty of wood, because all Malian structures except for farms cost 15% less wood. Now, to help them build their military as fast as possible, Malian gold miners do drop off 10% more gold, their universities work 80% faster, and their villagers are harder to raid because they can actually upgrade their town centers, these structures, to fire 8 arrows when ungarrisoned. 8 when ungarrisoned, and up to 18 when fully garrisoned, compared to the usual 10 that a normal town center, I should say a standard town center, fires. Ooh, villager took a bunch of damage from the elephant. We'll see whether or not he takes a cleaner pull on the second one. ACCM across the shifting sand, playing as the Sicilian in blue, a civilization whose strength, in my opinion, derives from their structural defensive buildings. Take a look at the top right of your screen. First thing you'll notice, the Sicilians do start with 100 extra stone, which is amazing because they do build town centers twice as fast as normal and castles 50% faster than normal. Now, starting in Feudal Age, the Sicilians can also build their unique structure, the donjon. Think of this as a mini castle that gains HP as the game progresses, and armor as well. And starting in Castle Age, just like a Malian town center with that upgrade I mentioned, the donjon does fire multiple arrows even when ungarrisoned. Now, unlike the Bulgarian Krepos, which can be rather like, oh goodness, I make this mistake a lot when I do the introduction for the donjon. Like the Bulgarian Krepos, it can be used to train the unique unit of the civilization. I am, of course, talking about the Sergeant, a medium infantry unit with great base armor whose HP actually goes up in Castle Age, and it is one of the only 2 unique units in the game that can be built or trained in Feudal. And by the way, you can use Sergeants to build and repair donjons. Now, unlike the Bulgarian Krepos, the donjon can also be used to train spearman line units, and it can also count as a prerequisite for stables and archery ranges. Now, by far, in my opinion, the coolest feature of the Sicilians is their ability to call a first crusade, where each one of these town centers spawns 5 sergeants, up to a maximum of 5 town centers, so total of 25 sergeants just boop, pop out of your town centers. Now, like all infantry units, the sergeant is susceptible to archer fire, so Sicilian knights, rather to help protect it on the field of battle, Sicilian knights and cavaliers can be upgraded to get extra armor. Their infantry, cavalry, and archer units do take 33% less bonus damage, and all Sicilian units can be upgraded to be more resistant to conversion. Now, to feed a big, hungry, militaristic population, the Sicilians do have the most fertile farms in the game. When a farm upgrade is researched, it more than doubles the amount of food added to the farm, so a fully upgraded Sicilian farm in Imperial comes with a massive 1,019 food. ACCM, being a bit of a pal here, is he going to give the sheep to his opponent when he finds them, or is he just using these sheep to scout? Rather, goats, not sheep. We'll see what he decides to do. Okay, discovers the forward position. We'll see if he circles his opponent's base, Mr. Yo. Has not discovered his opponent, but has already circled exactly where ACCM's base is. So has the game sense. You know why? Because he saw this. The 4 pile of gold, you know it's the secondary, maybe even the tertiary, but when you see 5 piles of stone, you know you're in the vicinity of your opponent's base, just like if you were to see a 7-pile gold pile, 7, what do we want to call these, mounds? Gold pile. Donjon going up already for our Sicilian, who is in Feudal Age. Remember, once he builds this, he will be able to build spearmen out of it. He will be able to construct an archery range and a stable. For now, Mr. Yo, poking and prodding. Now that he's hit Feudal Age, take a look. Pierce armor +1, even though he doesn't have any upgrades on these guys at all. Man, oh man, are the Malians a tough nut to crack for an archer civilization. For the Sicilians, we'll see. Not exactly an archer civilization, the Sicilian. Their archer line is not exactly great. But we'll see. We'll see the direction the players go. You guys know, I try to call it. It goes completely the opposite. I don't try to call it. It goes the way I think it's going to go. Mr. Yo, circling around the back, has discovered a bit of a pass through the forest. We'll see if he makes use of it. Of course he does. He is moving in with his men-at-arms, but a preemptive funnel, not a full wall-off, but just a funnel by ACCM already going up, so that if Mr. Yo wants to engage into any of this, he's gonna have to go through a town center. But he says, F the town center, I'm just going to try to attack the house. And moves in with the 3 men-at-arms while this scout... Let's take a look at the resources for ACCM. I mean, the forests in this map are just absolutely atrocious for both players, I can see. Gold exposed to the front, which is why he built this donjon right here. Not a bad idea. Primary stone is nice and safe in the back, but in the middle of nowhere, exposed. One sole palm tree to provide shade to any miners who have to toil in the sun. At the same time, ACCM has caught a bunch of villagers here, and the sergeant is out. No kills for any player just yet. Where are Mr. Yo's resources? Primary stone also kind of back middle position. Primary gold very much in the forward position, just like ACCM's. And forests. 1, 2, 3. Man, oh man, are they far. But this one is kind of in the back/center position, whereas ACCM's third forest is very much in the forward position, unless you want to count this little tiny fledgling forest here. Does manage to get an archer. I'm surprised the town center didn't do more damage to these guys. Oh, or am I? 2 pierce armor for the Malians makes them pretty good and tanky against town centers. So both players have lost their scout. Both players have infantry units on the map. Sergeant, look at that base armor. Jumps up to 3-3 base. And then the elite 4-4 base. An absolute beast of a unit. There are rumors around the PUP mill, the PUP, that was released earlier in August, that the cost of the sergeant is going to go down from, I believe, 60 food to 50 food, which doesn't really sound like much, but it's a huge difference in my opinion. Again, once you get to Imperial, once you have those juicy, fertile Sicilian farms with basically 1,020, 1,019 food, the difference between 60 food and 50 food for a unit is a 25% increase of output. I think I did the math earlier. It was you used to be able to train something like 16. Now you can train 20 with the same exact farms, and in they come. What's its attack speed? 2? Yeah, just a basic 2. And more Sicilian units are here now. He's got to be careful, Mr. Yo, because I think his whole army is in the very much forward position. At least most of his archers are, and I'm not too sure archers are going to do much against a sergeant with 2 base pierce armor. Ooh, a town center might, though. Ooh, strays a little bit too far off course. And now ACCM has to back away. These 2 healthier archers, both of them have +1 attack, no armor upgrades whatsoever. Looks like ACCM has walled himself in a little bit better than Mr. Yo, who began a massive construction project, as he always does. Unfortunately for him, there was a sergeant there already laying in wait. Both players doubling down on archer play. Not exactly something I thought I would see. Although I suspect, if I had to guess, that we are not going to see archer play for much longer beyond Feudal Age. This is just to pick off villagers if possible, to annoy. But look at the HP on these archers. ACCM taking a very wide berth to go back home with the last remaining survivor of his expeditionary force. Mr. Yo says, I've had enough as well. Maybe not. Will he pivot north? Will he go around the southern edge of the forest? No, never mind. He has not had enough. What he's had enough of is waiting. He is on the attack again as he completes the wall off to the eastern side of his base. Both players, 35 villagers. Mr. Yo's army supply 3 times his opponent. A lot of it in archers, which, you know, good and bad. Good to snipe villagers, bad because a very cheap counter unit is now on the field, which nullifies all of Mr. Yo's aggression entirely. And now they had to stop along the way to kill a lion. It looks like they managed to get ACCM's archer as well. And ACCM has secured his base. Mr. Yo has secured his base. Both players poking at each other a little bit. Kill count 12-6 for our Malian. 2 villagers apiece, though, is the real story. So no major economic damage for either player. And look at this interesting wall off here by ACCM. Has he explored the southern reaches? No. So he doesn't know there's a bit of a forest here. Not that it makes this wall off any less annoying pivoting south. But man, oh man, this is a very constricted base here for our Sicilian, who's now under attack yet again. Will lose a villager. Will lose... Oh, minimum range be damned. Rather, minimum range damn you. Look at that. Skirmisher can't do anything. He's literally just staring at these archers as they shoot arrows into the front of his face. And oh, Mr. Yo did lose his remaining forces to the east. But to the south of ACCM's base, he is here with archers. In 50 seconds, he'll be in castle, a full minute ahead of his opponent. But ACCM will be up to castle with 1 extra villager. Horse scholar for him, padded archer armor. Interesting. Okay, so our Malian is going to... Well, we'll see if he decides to double down on archer units. Again, not a direction I thought we'd see this game go in Castle Age. Feudal Age, you know, Feudal Age is always open to seeing archers, just because, again, the name of the game mostly is to annoy your opponent, to snipe villagers if you can, to poke and prod away at farms. And he is now moving south. Crossbows, bodkin, all on the way for Mr. Yo, our Malian, who is here with 10 crossbows in 2-1. Boom. You love to see it. ACCM finally exploring the southern reaches of his base. Unfortunately, attracts the ire of a lion, but not a bad thing to do when you discover a relic and another source of lumber. 2 stables. Knights are coming out. Bloodlines in the production. So Mr. Yo has to be very, very careful. We'll see if these knights pop out. We'll see if they garrison, auto garrison inside the stable. Either way, Mr. Yo will see that something's up. Sees the flag. ACCM pivoting will catch a knight and a crossbow of his opponent, but backs away. He's at a +1/+1. Ooh, I don't know that the knight should be taking this fight. Much stronger unit, but not when you're outnumbered 7-1, and he sees double flags. Knights are about to pop out. Forging for our Sicilian means he is doubling down on melee at the same time as he completes his second town center. I apologize. I did want to catch that. They do build these guys 100% faster, meaning twice as fast. Second town center for our Malian. Not the greatest of locations, if I'm being honest. Very constrained, but not terrible. Not the worst. You have access to lumber. You have access to gold. Plus, he's on the full-on aggressive. Ooh, our Sicilian says, stay there. There's nothing you're going to be able to do with crossbows. Even though, right now, they do outrange the town center by 1. Ooh, is this just all an attempt to catch reinforcements? He's got to be careful here, ACCM. These are camels with a nice +9 attack bonus against cavalry. How are his knights looking? +1/+1. Bloodlines researched. No husbandry just yet. And Mr. Yo retreats. Absolutely surprised that he retreated. You didn't have to run away with 14 crossbows. You have camels out on the map. I mean, the archers do pose a bit of a threat to camels. Camels have absolute terrible base armor of any kind. It doesn't even show up here because it's 0-0. So archers could do quite well against them. Bloodlines now for our Malian as well, as he plops down a third town center. Better location. These bases are just very, very strange in this game. But Mysterio looks like he wants to start mining stone. Our Sicilian, 0 villagers on stone. 18 army supply to 28 villager count, though. Our Sicilian is ahead 4 villagers. We'll see what he can do with that kind of economic advantage. He's got 25 on food, more on gold and food. But Mysterio's got villagers on stone. Now that this town center is done, and he is again moving forward. This is now 19 crossbows with ballistics in a second. So they are going to hunt down, they are going to track anything that moves. The T-Rex upgrade going for these crossbows. If you don't move, they can't see you. If you move, they snipe you, and in come the camels. Man, oh man. ACCM is very out of position here. Camels are not going to do anything against structures, but 19, 20 crossbows might actually be able to do some damage here. I'm surprised he's going after these structures or just kind of hanging out here. There's a very weak palisade here. These aren't cumin palisades. They're just basic 250 HP palisades. Monsieur bringing a monk, wants to get one of those knights. Loses the monk before the convert. Why is he being so cautious? Why is he being so coy here? He's got double the army supply. Here we go. Knights engage into camels. Crossbow count is 16. But they are going to absolutely shred this blue army, unless I'm completely wrong. That's fascinating. What happened there? I might go back at the end of the game and take a look at that. I thought Mysterio had that handily. Did blue just reinforce way too quickly, using the defender's advantage, this non-stop knight production out of him? How the hell did all those camels and crossbows lose? Did they give up the high ground too easily, I wonder? Wow, what an absolute unmitigated disaster for our Malian, who has now been dropped to an army supply consisting of 2 camels and a monk. 3 camels and a monk now. I think that was a TV show in the 80s, 3 camels and a monk. Starring, I don't know, that guy from Mork and Mindy, maybe? Oh man, Mork and Mindy. I don't know why my brain made that reference. In any event, total population, our Sicilian is ahead. Duh, his army supply is double his opponent as he runs by this Ozymandias derelict structure. And now he's going to penetrate into Mysterio's base. This is what Mysterio needed to do here with these palisades. ACCM is in. He's got a good exit strategy. Might want to leave 1 unit just to patrol here, or maybe continue moving forward with units. I see dots streaming across the minimap. It looks like villagers building. Ooh, what do we think he's building? A siege workshop? Of course it's a siege workshop. Of course it is. Camels being healed. Is this what Mr. Yo was missing earlier in the absolute slaughter fest over here? Just a few monks healing his units? And now ACCM takes a breather. He's ahead. 17 army count to 10. Now he's down in villagers. Mr. Yo with that third town center starting to pump out more and more. And again, he's walled himself off to the west. This is completely open. A bunch of stables are not going to stop these knights from entering. It looked like he wanted to rebuild this house, but maybe thought better of it, thinking that, hey, I've got camels here now, so why the hell would I need to worry about any kind of incursion? Husbandry finally being researched for our Sicilian, who now has the high ground on these camels. The camels run away. Will he lose one to a conversion? Nope. Same story the other way around. Mysterio backs off with his monk. What's in here? A mangonel. Ooh, where are you going? Imagine you're that villager. You know, you wake up in the morning, you have your morning coffee, maybe a cup of tea, whatever people drink in the morning, you know, or orange juice. You go to work, your boss tells you, hey, you're going to be doing some lumberjacking off-site today. You move forward, and all of a sudden, 16 Sicilian knights bear down on you, and you say, oh, F that, you turn around and go right back into the settlement. And now Mr. Yo is contained. Not exactly a hard contain, a soft contain, but take a look at ACCM stone. 630, 640. He is going to be able to plop down a big old Sicilian castle at some point. Mr. Yo already with his not building anything. He's gathering resources. Is he going to rush up to Imperial? Is he rushing up to Imperial right when he's under attack here? An absolute risky move here out of our Malian. Seeing, I mean, this is just, this is like watching one of those schools of fish in a National Geographic documentary flowing, but seeing that he's got a bunch of knights bearing down on him, he decides to go up to Imperial Age, spends basically all of his resources. At the same time, he moves out with camels. Was probably going to go try to raid, but he's going to catch a mangonel, but then he most likely saw the knights moving out. Oh, these camels have to back the hell away. There's nothing they can do here now. Ooh, maybe they'll catch a reinforcing knight, but that's about it. ACCM has inserted himself in here, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing Mr. Yo can do about this. He is running away, but now they're finally at a 0+1 armor. I don't know why the game is lagging a little bit. I do apologize when I drag it. Or maybe that's on my end. In any event, I feel like it's dragging a little bit. Mr. Yo's camels are heading back, but look at this full frontal assault. ACCM must suspect that his opponent has gone up to Imperial. He must have seen Mr. Yo's score drop when he spent 1,800 resources, and he must know exactly what that means. Ooh, if he knew that this town center was the one researching Imperial Age, he could have absolutely gone in here and wrecked it. He's got the knights, he's got the mangonels. That is very sour, if only he knew. But he does not have the God's Eye caster view like we do. He has a knight in the back sniping villagers. He's got more knights in the back about to get sniped by camels. In the front, he's continuing to demolish infrastructure, and Mr. Yo is in Imperial. Our Sicilian nowhere close resource-wise, but look at the army counts. They are almost identical, 25 to 31. Gebettos are out. No relevant attack bonuses whatsoever, I don't think. No, just Eagle Warriors. Not something we're going to see this game. But they are quick. They are an assassin squad. And they gun down the last mangonel of our Sicilian, who at the same time has lost his entire backwards flank attack and is now committed to the frontal attack, which is now going to be a little dicey with 2 trebs out. But iron casting, conscription, arson for Mr. Yo. He is going infantry for sure with those. And Imperial Age finally for our Sicilian. The question is, how long will this castle survive? He's got 1,000 stone, so he can repair the castle. The question is, does he want to? Should he? Remember, they build castles 50% faster, so if he loses one, he can replace it, repair it, or rather replace it very, very quickly. The light cav are going to move in. +1. +1. No Farimba just yet. And replaces it right to the south. Should he have continued mining the stone? Or is it... Yeah, I don't mind this that he pivoted to gold. He knows this position's about to be overrun in the next few seconds. Let's see if our Gebettos can suss out that there's now a stone... rather, that the stone has been abandoned, and now that there's gold mining. Oh, they're so quick to snipe. They are just so quick to snipe. The monk sees it. The monk coming home with a relic sees it on the way back, but... You see me, I see you, says ACM. And 2 knights will absolutely... okay. Excuse me. Knock, knock, knock. What the hell's going on? Ooh, Mr. Yo deletes his own house. Very sour. Very, very sour. He's going to lose that monk anyway and deleted a house for nothing. But no. Oh my god, maybe not going to lose the monk. Oh my god. I could literally say... The sky is blue, and it would rain that day, and the sky would be gray. Camels, any attack bonus against buildings? None whatsoever. Villagers escape to the south. Unfortunately, there are no resources here. There's only empty sands and trees. He sees the lumber camp with the villagers. Does ACCM. But now he's just kind of running around taking damage from these Gebettos. The Gebetto speed 1.38, Knight 1.49, not much faster. And these guys have range and maneuverability. What they don't have is any kind of base armor at all. But he draws his opponent's army into the donjon radius of death. Unfortunately for him, Mysterio still with the two Trebs. Oh my god, I stuttered there because I saw Cavalier. Why is he taking this fight when he's 30 seconds away from Cavalier? He absolutely slaughtered those knights. Loses 2 to a convert. Now, one thing I should point out that I failed to mention, I knew I forgot something when that battle took place here to the south, where Mr. Yo just lost his entire army. Remember, these guys take 33% less bonus damage. All Sicilian units, not just, I think all their infantry, cavalry, and archers. I don't think siege. Not that I think we're going to see anything here with a bonus attack against siege, but their infantry, cavalry, archers do take less bonus damage, which could explain why he was able to absolutely rout those camels. That +9 bonus was reduced to +6. Mr. Yo loses his last Treb. Gebettos taking their kpingas and throwing them to their heart's content against these Cavaliers. Cavaliers with 6 pierce armor, 5 melee armor, who now find a bunch of gold miners. And very, very soon we'll have Blast Furnace, the last attack upgrade. So these guys are about to be fully upgraded. I really do wonder if we're going to get to see Hauberk here out of our Sicilian, who is, ow, no, slaughtering villagers to the north. His donjon is under attack to the west. He's getting individual Gebettos. This is the absolute worst way to spawn and just go straight to your death, 1 unit at a time. Gebettos should probably be clumped, should probably be put together, stuck together. I mean, I don't know what to make of this. Is this a brilliant move, or is this a really bad move out of ACCM, just continuing to move around with these Cavaliers, taking untold amounts of damage? On the one hand, he is keeping 26 Gebettos. This is more than half of Mysterio's army, chasing only 10 army supply, while our Sicilian struggles to get his numbers up. So I don't know, again, is this brilliant? Or is this just a huge mistake? Does he, will he be better served just clumping up his units? Oh, the Gebettos they see the villagers. Okay, I think he wanted to take that fight, but unfortunately, oh my god, look how many are being thrown at this. Jeez. It kind of looks like it does pass-through damage. I don't think it does, though. A castle attempt. You cannot build on this site. Construction site obstructed. You do not have the permits to tear down the old building and build a new one, the government tells Mr. Yo. And so he has to move away with his buttload of villagers. I don't know how else to say it. That dozen is a buttload, technically, in the scientific community. Now he's got to be careful. I mean, he's got 3 times the army count of his opponent, but they're in small clumps all over the map. Oh man, these Cavaliers. There's that Hauberk. Look at that armor on the Cavalier. 6 melee, 8 pierce armor. Ooh, ACCM doing a good job discovering these small clumps of villagers. Mr. Yo not really building a death ball at the moment. We'll see if he does what Mr. Yo likes to do, which is attack in about 7 different locations at once. For now, though, his entire army looks like it is pivoting east at the worst time, right as a Treb and Cavalier show up to the west. But ACCM is doing the exact same thing. He's just throwing away a bunch of units. The mobility is keeping these Gebettos, the effectiveness of the Gebettos to a minimum, which is good, but loses a Treb himself. Our Malian training a bombard cannon. No more Trebs for anybody. 2 monks for our Sicilian. Where are these 2 monks? Oh, okay. So they're... Is there a relic here? Okay, not too sure why the monk is going there, unless I am missing the location of a relic. ACCM is just losing a lot of Cavaliers needlessly. I mean, kudos for trying to raid with the Cavalier. It's an incredibly tanky unit to raid with, but it's also not that fast. Yeah. And Mr. Yo's defensive structures are placed quite well. Why is the castle not attacking? This is sometimes an interesting thing that happens. It does look like the red line is here, right? So not too sure why this castle is not attacking the donjon, but the donjon falls to a combined force of light cav and Gebettos. Take a look at their attack. 14 plus 7 attack. Bonus against buildings? Nope, but doesn't need it. Oh my goodness. With the I keep saying kpingas, with the Gebettos, these donjons are just melting. But our Sicilian has gotten his army supply to 43. Unfortunately for him, Mr. Yo's army supply is 82. Literally double his army count. And it is not bad army. It is 60 Gebettos. But finally, ACCM able to take a fight here. As Mr. Yo stays a little bit too long for the party. I think maybe he wanted his castle on the high ground to do a good amount of damage. Instead, he loses a whole bunch of Gebettos, but he doesn't care. He's already rebuilding, training more. They are just so annoying. They're going to demolish +2 attack against buildings, which means 86 additional damage to every building for every volley of kpingas that these units throw. And now the light cav are going to absolutely melt. I mean, this is almost looks like almost a scenario, a campaign scenario. But ACCM is back. His donjon is about to fall. He's got a castle to the very far east here, which we'll take a look at once Mr. Yo wipes the floor. Yet again, Mr. Yo just taking such better engagements here compared to our Sicilian. I mean, our Sicilian doing a good job dragging these guys into the donjon radius. But oh my god, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 volleys, and the donjon is dead. They are mini castles, which means they don't have as much HP as a castle. And holy moly, the Gebettos are just winning the day here for Mr. Yo, as are the terrible fights that our Sicilian is taking. Loses an entire gold line without saving a single villager. Oh, wow. I took a look at the top for a second. I thought, okay, 124 villagers. He's not going to resign anytime soon, right? And then, of course, I'm lucky I didn't say it out loud, but then, of course, I had to open my big mouth afterwards. Holy moly. 59 kills for these Gebettos, and lost gold line, mineral line, all raided to hell. And now there's raiding to the south. I mean, this is about to get lumberjacked out, which basically leaves him just with this forest. This one also looks like, holy moly, did our Sicilian commit a little bit too much into wood? How many villagers on wood lumber did he have right before he died? 62 villagers on wood? I mean, I see he's building stables in donjon. I mean, forget the donjon. I see he's building stables here. 13 stables. I'm not sure a structure that costs 175 wood and a structure that costs 75 wood really justify having 62 villagers on wood. Very fascinating villager allocation there. And Mr. Yo took advantage of it. 56 Gebetto, 30 light cav, and a bombard cannon that managed to take down I think this donjon, right? When it was positioned here to the north. ACCM, I really am curious what he was doing with all those cavaliers. Small clumps, a few in the back, a few raiding over here, but never a big death ball, never a big army on army engagement, which allowed these kpingas, oh yeah, I did it again, allowed these Gebettos with their mobility. 1.38 movement speed is pretty damn good for an infantry unit to just absolutely run around the map and wreak havoc. More coming here. This castle's about to fall. No surprise that Mr. Yo took this W and that ACCM resigned. He's just being slaughtered everywhere. Slaughtered to the west, slaughtered to the east, slaughtered to the south, and in the center of his base, the Gebettos. I was going to say kpinga again. Oh my god. The Gebettos are here and have basically killed anything that he tries to throw at them. Wow, 127 Gebettos, 122 Cavaliers, and for the majority of the game, they were Cavaliers, right? They were Knights for a bit. PKPM beginning, PKPM right at the beginning, and I'm curious to see the economies. They can't be too different. Oh my God, forget different. They're almost identical. More wood for our Sicilian, a lot more food, or not a lot more food, but more food for our Malian, and then the scarce resources. Our Sicilian did manage to take about an extra castle's worth of stone, but even Mr. Yo having 3 relics did not get as much gold as our Sicilian. And yeah, I think ultimately the battle that happened here at the beginning of the game, or wherever it was, here or here, it must be that Sicilian bonus reduction. I can't think of any other reason that the Knights just took such an amazing engagement against all those crossbows. I mean, the crossbows don't do bonus damage, but the camels. And wow, let's take a look at kills. Mr. Yo, 270 kills. 70 of that is villagers. But look at ACCM. In terms of villager kills, not far behind at all. Only 17 fewer villager kills, and his total kills are about, what is this, 172 to 203? So only 31 fewer kills, if my math is correct, militarily. That being said, his Sicilian Cavaliers are fighting against a unique unit that costs 40 gold, 50 food. So a 1-to-1 comparison is not great. That being said, Mr. Yo, with the Gebettos, with their mobility, with the systematic destruction of the castles, the donjons, anything and everything that was placed in his path, man, oh man, did he piece by piece take apart our Sicilian. And using, again, wow, you don't see this very frequently, these big death balls of Gebettos. Using the big death ball of Gebettos, Mr. Yo is victorious. Takes the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.